So from the content of Road to IELTS preparation and practice, we'll see practice test 1 of general training module of reading. So IELTS is actually International English Language Testing System, and this is for general training reading. We are taking this practice test. There are certain instructions. Do not open this question paper until you are told to do so. Write your name and candidate number in the space at the top of this page. Read the instruction for each part of the paper. Carefully answer all the questions. Write your answers on the answer sheet. Use your pencil. You must complete the answer sheet within the time limit. And at the end of the test, hand in both this question paper and your answer sheet. And information, again, we have 40 questions in this question paper. Each question carries 1 mark. So this is the section 1 and question is from 1 to 14. We need to read the text below and answer question 1 to 8. This applies to all persons on the school campus. In case of emergency, for example fire, find the nearest teacher who will send a messenger at full speed to the office or inform the office via phone extension 99. First is warning of an emergency evacuation will be marked by a number of short bell rings. So in the event of power failure, this may be a handheld bell or siren. Then second is all class work will cease immediately. Third is students will leave their bags, books and other possessions where they are. Fourth, teachers will take the class rolls. Fifth, classes will vacate the premises using the nearest staircase. If these stairs are inaccessible, use the nearest alternative staircase. Do not use the lifts. Do not run. Sixth is each class under the teacher's supervision will move in a brisk, orderly fashion to the paved quadrangle area adjacent to the park. Then all support staff will do the same. The marshalling supervisor, Miss Randall, will be wearing a red cap and she will be waiting there with the master timetable and staff list in her possession. Students assemble in the quad with their teacher at the time of evacuation and the teacher will do a head count and check the roll. Ninth, each teacher sends a student to the supervisor to report whether all students have been accounted for. After checking, student will sit down. In the event of rain or wet pavement, they may remain standing. 10th is the supervisor will inform the office when all staff and students have been accounted for. 11th, all students, teaching staff and support personnel remain in the evacuation area until the all clear signal is given. The next one is the all clear will be a long bell ring or 3 blasts on the siren. 14, actually 12 is not there. It was not in the content, so don't worry about that. Then the all clear will be a long bell ring or 3 blast on the siren. 14th is students will return to class in an orderly manner under teacher guidance. 15th is in the event of an emergency occurring during lunch or breaks, students are to assemble in their homeroom groups in the quad and await their homeroom teacher. So now the questions are 8 questions. Choose no more than 3 words from the text which we have just read and write your answer in box 1 to 8 on your answer sheet. So in an emergency, a teacher will either phone the office or sends a messenger. The signal of evacuation will normally be several short bell rings. If possible, students should leave the building by the nearest staircase. They then walk quickly to the paved quadrangle area or quad. You can just write quad. 5th, dash will join the teachers and students in the quad. 5th is all support staff or personnel. You can just write personnel or you can also write support staff. Each class teacher will count up his or her students and mark the roll. 6th is mark the class roll. The roll. The 7th is after the dash everyone may return to class. After the 8th is this 7th is after the all clear signal. 8th is if there is an emergency at lunchtime, students gather in the quad in homeroom groups and wait for their teacher. Then we have questions from 9 to 14. This is community education, short courses, business basics. In this, Gain foundation knowledge for employment in an accounts position with bookkeeping and business basics through to intermediate level suitable for anyone requiring knowledge from the ground up. Code is BED011. From 16th to 24th April, 9 to 4 p.m. Cost is 420 bucks. Then bookkeeping. This course will provide students with a comprehensive understanding of bookkeeping and a great deal of hands-on experience. Code is BED020. 19th April, 9 a.m. to 2:30. One session only, so advance booking is essential. It is costing 250 bucks. Then we have new enterprise module, understand company structures, tax rates, deductions, employer obligations, profit and loss statement, GST and budgeting for tax. Code is BED030. 15 to 27 May, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Cost is 105. Then social networking, the latest marketing tool. This broad overview gives you the opportunity to analyze that web technologies are available and how they can benefit your organization. Code is BED033. 1 or 8 or 15 June, 6 to 9 p.m. Cost 95 bucks. Communication. Take the fear out of talking to large gatherings of people. Gain the public speaking experience that will empower you with better communication skills and confidence. Code is BED401. 12, 13 or 14 July, 6 to 9 p.m. Cost is 90 bucks. So now we have questions 9 to 14 and do the following statement agree with the information given in the text. So we have information identification stuff here. True is if the statement agrees with the information. False is if the statement contradicts the information. Not given is if there is no information on this. So first is business basics is appropriate for beginners. This is true. 10. Bookkeeping has no practical component. This is false. Bookkeeping is intended for advanced students only. This is actually not given. Not given. The new enterprise module can help your business become more profitable. This is also not given. Social networking focuses on a specific website to help your business succeed. This is false. The communication class involves speaking in front of an audience. This is true. Now we are on to section 2, question 15 to 28. So 15 to 21 is based on the text on the left page has 7 section A to G, right? Choose the correct heading for each section from the list of heading below and write the correct number, that is 1 to 10, 1 to 10 in boxes 15 to 21 on your answer sheet. So before answering them, let us read. Beneficial work practices for the keyboard operator. A. Sensible work practices are an important factor in the prevention of muscular fatigue, discomfort or pain in the arms, neck, hands or eye strain, which could be associated with constant or regular work at a keyboard and visual display unit. B. It is vital that the employer pays attention to the physical settings such as workplace design and office environment and the placement of monitors as well as the organization of the work and individual work habits. Operators must be able to recognize work-related health problems and be given the opportunity to participate in the management of these. Operators should take note of and follow the preventive measures outlined below. C. The typist must be comfortably accommodated in a chair that is adjustable for height with a backrest. That is also and easily adjustable both for angle and height. The backrest and sitting ledge with a curved edge should preferably be cloth covered to avoid excessive perspiration. Backrest and sitting ledge. Then when the keyboard operator is working from paper file or manuscript, it should be at the same distance from the eyes as the screen. The most convenient position can be found by using some sort of holder. Individual arrangement will vary according to whether the operator spends more time looking at the video or the paper. Whichever the eyes are focused on for the majority of time should be put directly in front of the operator. Then while keying, it is advisable to have frequent but short pauses of around 30 to 60 seconds to proofread. When doing this, relax your hand. After you have been keying for 60 minutes, you should have 10 minutes change of activity. And during this spell, it is important that you do not remain seated but stand up or walk around. This period could be profitably used to do filing or collect and deliver documents. Then we have generally the best position for a video is at right angles to the window. Video, right angles to the window. If this is not possible, then glare from the window can be controlled by blinds, curtains and movable screens, keep the face of the videos vertical to avoid glare from overhead lighting. Then we have unsatisfactory work practices or working condition. This may result in aches or pain. Symptoms should be reported to your supervisor early on so that the cause of the trouble can be corrected and the operator should seek medical attention. So now we have read this. This is actually D. Let us go back and try answering the question. This is actually matching. So the 15th one, section A. Section A, we are talking about this. So this we are going to link with VI, that is the sixth one. What are the common health problems? 16th would be AIDS. 16 would be AIDS, that is what are the roles of management and worker. 17, that is section C. Section C. What it says, section C, 17. This says what makes a good seat. We have talked about perspiration, etc. and good backrest. Section D, 18. 18 will be your 10. That will be where should I place the documents? Where should I place the documents? Means video and documents because we are reading on the paper and you are also keying in. Looking at video. 19. Section E. This will be second. How long should I work without a break? 60 minutes if possible. There is a 20-20 rule also, but it is not given here. Then we have 20. Section F. 20. We'll match it with the first one. How can reflections problem be avoided? 90-degree or right angles or some glaring. 21. Section G. We are going to match 21 with 3. That is, what if I experience any problem? We should go to the supervisor. So now this is also done. Let us come to 22 to 28. Workplace dismissals. Workplace dismissal. So before the dismissal, if an employer wants to dismiss an employee, there is a process to be followed. Instances of minor misconduct and poor performance must first be addressed through some preliminary steps. Firstly, you should be given an improvement note. This will explain the problem, outline any necessary changes and offer some assistance in correcting the situation. Then if your employer does not think your performance has improved, you may be given a written warning. The last step is called a final written warning, which will inform you that you will be dismissed unless there are improvements in performance. If there is no improvement, your employer can begin the dismissal procedure. The dismissal procedure begins with a letter from the employer setting out the charges made against the employee. The employee will be invited to a meeting to discuss these accusations. If the employee denies the charge, he is given the opportunity to appear at a formal appeal hearing in front of a different manager. After this, a decision is made as to whether the employee will be let go or not. Then dismissals. Of the various type of dismissals, a fair dismissal is the best kind of an employer wants an employee out of the workplace. A fair dismissal is legally and contractually strong. It means all necessary procedures have been correctly followed. In cases where an employee's misconduct have been very serious, however, the employer may not have to follow all these procedures. If the employer can prove that the employee's behavior was illegal, dangerous and severely wrong, the employee can be dismissed immediately, a procedure known as summary dismissal. Sometimes a dismissal is not considered to have taken place fairly. One of these types is wrongful dismissal and involves a breach of contract by the employer. This could involve dismissing an employee without notice or without following proper disciplinary and dismissal procedures. Another type, unfair dismissal, is when an employee is sacked without a good cause. There is another kind of dismissal known as constructive dismissal, which is slightly peculiar because the employee is not actually openly dismissed by the employer. In this case, the employee is forced into resigning by an employer who tries to make significant changes in the original contract. This could mean an employee might have to work night shift after originally signing on for day work, or he could be made to work in dangerous conditions. So now, question 22-23, complete the sentences, not more than 3 words. If an employee receives a dash, this means he will lose his job if his work does not get better. So this is final written warning. 23. If an employee does not accept the reasons for his dismissal, a dash can be arranged. A formal appeal hearing. H. Then 24 to 28. Look at the following descriptions and the list of terms in the box below. Match each description with the correct letter A to E. This A to E are here. Write the appropriate letter in your answer sheet. So let us start. 24. An employee is asked to leave work straight away because he has done something really bad. This is B, summary dismissal. So this is B. Then you have an employee is pressured to leave the job unless he accepts conditions that are very different from those agreed in the beginning, 25th. That is E, constructive dismissal. E. E. Then we have an employer gets rid of an employee without keeping to conditions in the contract. An employer gets rid of an employee. So 26 is D, wrongful dismissal. D. Then we have the reason for an employee dismissal is not considered good enough. 27. That is unfair dismissal. C. The reasons for an employee dismissal are acceptable by law and the terms of employment contract. That is 28. That is A. So now we are on to the final section, that is the section 3. Read the text below and answer from 29 to 40. Let us start. From the very first cavemen to scale a tree or hang from a cliff face to the mighty armies of Greco-Roman empires and the gymnasiums of modern American high schools, calisthenics, this is, you can spell it like calisthenics or calisthenics. It depends on you. Actually it's calisthenics. So calisthenics has endured and thrived because of its simplicity and utility. Unlike strength training, which involves weight machine and resistant bands, calisthenics uses only the body's own weight for physical development. Calisthenics enters the historical record at around 480 BC with Herodotus' account of the Battle of Thermopylae. Or, this is a typical word, so there is no point in pronouncing it. But you can just distribute it like Thermopylae or Thermopylae. So Herodotus reported that prior to the battle, the god king Xerxes sent a scout party to spy on his Spartan enemies. The scouts informed Xerxes that the Spartan, under the leadership of King Leonidas, were practicing some kind of bizarre synchronized movement akin to a tribal dance. Xerxes was greatly amused. His own army was comprised of over 120,000 men, while the Spartan had just 300. Leonidas was informed that he must retreat or face an annihilation. The Spartans did not retreat, however. In the ensuing battle, they managed to hold Xerxes' enormous army at bay for some time until reinforcements arrived. So this reinforcement, only 300 people, they managed to stop these many men. So it turns out their tribal dance was not a superstitious ritual but a form of calistheny by which they were building awe-inspiring physical strength and endurance. The Greeks took calistheny seriously not only as a form of military discipline and strength but also as an artistic expression of movement and an aesthetically ideal physique. Indeed, the term calistheny itself is derived from the Greek word of beauty and strength. We know from historical records and images from pottery, mosaics and sculptures of the period that the ancient Olympians took calistheny training seriously. They were greatly admired and still are today for the combination of athleticism and physical beauty. You may have heard a friend whimsically sigh and mention that someone has a body of a Greek god. This expression has traveled through centuries and continents, and the source of this envy and admiration is the calisthenic method. Calisthenics experienced its second golden age in the 1800s. This century saw the birth of gymnastics, an organized sport that uses a range of bars, rings, vaulting horses and balancing beams to display physical powers. This period is also when the phenomena of strongmen developed. These were people of astounding physical strength and development who forged nomadic careers by demonstrating outlandish feats of strength to stunt population. Most of these men trained using hand balancing and horizontal bars, as modern weight machines had not yet been invented. Then in the 1950s, Angelo Siciliano, who went by the stage name Charles Atlas, was crowned the world's most perfectly developed man. Atlas's own approach stemmed from traditional calisthenics, and through a series of mail-order comic books, he taught these methods to hundreds of thousands of children and young adults through the 1960s and 1970s. But Atlas was the last of dying breed. The tides were turning, fitness methods were drifting away from calisthenics, and no widely regarded proponent of the method would ever succeed. In the 1960s and 70s, calisthenics and the goal of functional strength combined with physical beauty was replaced by an emphasis on huge muscles at any cost. This becomes the sport of bodybuilding. Although bodybuilding pioneers were drawn from calisthenics tradition, the sole goal soon became an increase in muscle size. Bodybuilding icons, people such as Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sergio Oliva, were called mass monsters because of their imposing physiques. Physical development of this nature was only attainable through the use of anabolic steroids, synthetic hormones which boosted muscle development while harming overall health. These bodybuilders also relied on free weights and machines which allowed them to target and bloat the size of individual muscle rather than develop a naturally proportioned body. Calisthenics, with its emphasis on physical beauty and a balance in proportion, had little to offer the mass monsters. Then, in this bigger and better climate, calisthenics were relegated to groups perceived by the vulnerable such as women, people recuperating from injuries and school students. Although some of the strongest and most physically developed human beings ever to have lived acquired their abilities through the use of sophisticated calisthenics, a great deal of this knowledge was discarded and the methods was reduced to nothing more than easily accessible and readily available activity. Those who mastered the rudimentary skills of calisthenics would expect to graduate a weight training rather than advanced calisthenics. Edge. In recent years, however, fitness trends have been shifting back towards the use of calisthenics. Bodybuilding approaches that promote excessive muscle development frequently lead to joint pains, injuries, unbalanced physiques, and weak cardiovascular health. As a result, many of the newest and most popular gyms and programs emphasize calisthenics-based methods instead. Modern practices often combine elements from a number of related traditions such as yoga, pilates, kettlebell training, gymnastics, and traditional Greco-Roman calisthenics. Many people are keen to recover the original Greek vision of physical beauty and strength and harmony of the mind-body connection. So now we have questions. The text has 8 paragraphs, A to H. Which paragraph contains the following information? Write the correct letter in the box. 29. The origin of word calisthenics. So this was actually C. The last popular supporter of calisthenics. This was E. The first use of calisthenics as a training method, 31, is B. Then a multidisciplinary approach to all-round health and strength, 32. It was H, the last one. Reasons for the survival of calisthenics throughout the ages, the 33 was first A. They talked about Spartans. The use of medical substances to increase muscle mass and strength, this was told in F, muscle building. A reference to traveling showmen who displayed their strength for audiences, 35, this was told in D. Then 36 to 40, the final one. Complete the summary below. Choose no more than 2 words. From the text of each answer, write your answer in boxes 36 to 40 on your answer sheet. So during the 60s and 70s, attaining huge muscles became more important than functional strength or having an attractive looking body. The first people to take up this new sport of bodybuilding had a background in calisthenics, but the most famous practitioners became known as mass monsters on account of impressive size of their muscles. Drugs and mechanical devices were used to develop individual muscles to a monster size. Calisthenics then became the domain of weaker people, female children, and those recovering from injuries. Much of the advanced knowledge about calisthenics was lost and the method was subsequently downgraded to the status of simple user-friendly activities. Once a person becomes skilled at this, he would progress to weight training, WT. Then currently a revival of calisthenics is underway as extreme mass building can harm the body, leaving it sore, out of balance, and in poor cardiovascular health. So this was our journal training reading practice paper 1. Thank you so much. Take care.